Hi, manufacturing folks. I'm Stéphane Agnard, president and co-founder of Liggo, a manufacturing platform that helps you out manufacturing success. If you want to learn how to reduce your dependency on high-skill employee, how to gain productivity, or how to scale your business, you're at the right place to learn how Liggo can help you out simplify your operation. All right, let's do it. First of all, we all know the challenge manufacturers are facing: a shortage of expert, lower productivity, which make it difficult to grow the business, to create a scalable business model where additional human or machine resources can simply be added to meet an increasing demand. For example, when we survey company, there is often close to 70% of their production capacity that remains unused due to the lack of expert on the plant. This could mean like an evening or a weekend shift that we cannot open, or simply equipment that can be operated because there's inefficient skilled personnel. It's important here that I'm talking about the shortage of expert, not a shortage of labor, because in practice, the big box retailer in this world are full of potential employee. They just don't get right now the skill that you're currently looking for. This is an example of a typical manufacturing process, starting with material receiving, material prep, machining operation, could be assemble operation as well, external treatment, then quality control, and shipping the part to the customer. In certain highly regulated industries, such as aerospace and medical, or even more generally, there's often a gap between the operation on the shop floor and the quality control. This gap is often reinforced by the lack of oversight of the operation and the absence of traceability and accountability of information. At its core, this is a trust issue that forces quality to revalidate what has already been done in the production. So that being said, if you want to grow the business, you're going to have to add the expert at the operation side, but also in the quality. But what if we had like a super system, something that can ensure that everything required that the machine was done correctly? We could actually reduce massively the amount of staff we need at the quality, leaving only administrative tasks like material or process compliance certificate or mandatory visual inspection, for example. In practice, it will be then hard to find that many persons. So we're going to have to be able to do more with less and guide people efficiently on the shop floor. And what if we were able to replace our high-skilled employee by people who are not specialists and simply guide them step by step throughout the execution of the operation? We can shift the issue from a workforce access to a knowledge transfer and employee empowerment. But at the end, the remaining question is still, how can we democratize your expertise? How can we make the production of complex part routine? This is exactly why we created Liggo, a manufacturing platform that can connect and orchestrate any type of human, any type of machine, and existing system, to become the central point where all the manufacturing data will flow, allowing Liggo to control the entire factory from basic work instruction for the operator, quality control, through automation. How we do this? First of all, we connect it all. Liggo is the only solution out there that covers the three main levels of manufacturing automation system to ensure data flow between the shop floor to the enterprise management level. So to better understand what Liggo is everything except an ERP system. So from the MES manufacturing executing system that controls the operator, the SCADA system that will gather all the data, and Liggo can get through the control of physical assets, so machinery, equipment, robots, stuff like that. Then we encapsulate the know-how of our expert to centralize the expertise in a solution to make it available to any kind of operator. Then we orchestrate human and machine to operate the production step by step. Finally, we increase efficiency by using AI for planning, for example, or added all the business logic inside the solution to optimize the operation and to make sure that we execute as planned. It seemed pretty obvious when it mentioned like this, but there's one question remains. How can we actually encapsulate the know-how of our expert, and what will be the benefit for the operation, for the shop floor? So let's take this example. If I want to produce a part, I can take my best quality guy and ask him, what should I inspect on this part? What are the important characteristics to measure? So on which inspection tool should I inspect it, and what will be the frequency? I can ask him also what will be all the rule. If, let's say, I find a non-conformity, what should I do to make sure that I will act exactly as you're doing at the quality? When we move to the manufacturing side, I can define which machine I'm going to use, what will be the tooling, the tool life I'm going to use, and which program should I run to produce this part. And if I move to my expert, let's say an expert machinist, he's pretty much the only one that can tell me what are the relationship between the tooling I define and the characteristic that is are produced on the shop floor, on the part. So that's, if we call this the engineering, so all the information can be defined previously, and what would be the benefit for the operation? So having a system that know all the tooling that are currently on the machine and all the tooling and asset management that is required to run a job, you can actually do a better scheduling. So you can better plan to reduce the setup time and make sure that you have everything on hand. So basically to purchase everything you need to make sure you're not missing anything on the shop floor. And then you can also ease the life of the tool prep. So when you're preparing a job, for example, on a single click, you can actually know what you should actually mount according on what's on the machine right now. So just right here, we simplify the planning, the supply management, and all the preparing tool, all the tool prep. If we move to the operation on the shop floor, I can guide step by step an operator on what he should control manually on the part, which part to send for measurement for CMM, optical comparator, can be work instruction as well, and I can actually control the entire process to make sure it goes as well as I want it to. So this will be all the quality control of my process. If I move in here, having the links between the tool and the characteristic, I can now guide to have tool change tasks on the shop floor, and I can also do automated tool wear compensation, meaning by every single measurement that I do can result into a compensation on the machine right away to make sure I let the system to control the process. And then if we wanted to, we can add automation to move parts around from the manufacturing CNC machine, for example, to the machine that can measure the part. So if we look at this, just by letting the right information at the engineering, we can actually execute as planned and make sure that the operation get value on the planning, supply management, all the quality control, and all the process control as well, and can lead also to the automation if we wanted to. At Liggo, we fully understand that empowerment and automation doesn't happen overnight. And that's why we created a step-by-step approach, where you can allow you to focus on specific work center and processes and gradually move forward toward a full implementation. So remind you, Liggo is a manufacturing platform. There's a ton of module and functionality out there. But the idea here is to cherry pick what's bring value for you today. So, for example, basic feature as monitoring and scheduling is just a plug and play to actually see what's going on your shop floor. Then you can move on to more quality control, work instruction, then more process control, then automation. So the idea behind Liggo is we want to avoid the problem of having all those little satellite solutions. For example, if you want, let's say, to have a visibility on your shop floor. So, there's a tons of monitoring solution out there on the market. For example, Machine Matrix, which is a great solution. But except monitoring, there's not much more than monitoring in the monitoring solution. So you will now have to move to another solution to keep improving. So the idea behind Liggo is having this manufacturing platform that can cover it all from one end to the other end of the processes. A solution that you will be able to scale as you grow, to always put more and more data into it and get slowly from increase your planning and your visibility, increase your supply management, increase your quality control, process control, and then reach automation. So it's just a matter of finding the right solution to be able to evolve tomorrow, in a week, in 1 year, in 5 years, to always be able to evolve in a single unique platform. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and you've learned a little bit more how Liggo can help you out to encapsulate the know-how of your expert and to make you more efficient on the shop floor. If you have any question or you want to learn more about Liggo, simply contact us. At Liggo, we are passionate about manufacturing and we're here to manufacturing success.